Today is December 12th, which is the Feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe. So hundreds of people gathered in front of Dolores Mission at 3:30 this morning, like in front of thousands of churches in the Americas, to celebrate Our Lady of Guadalupe. La Morenita del Tepeyac, they call her that because her skin is dark. And she appeared to Juan Diego, and he had his poncho, his dilma, and she said, put roses in it and go to the bishop, because the bishop's kind of medio tapado. And so he went there and he drops the dilma, and híjole, there's Our Lady of Guadalupe. And so she appeared to a very poor man. So the gospel says, you know, the blind will regain their sight and the lame will walk, and the poor will have the good news arrive to them. And so the good news arrived to Juan Diego. The prophet Isaiah writes, be strong, fear not. The splendor of God is here. Splendor is an old kind of word that we don't use that much. Splendor means brilliance, it means shining brightly. And the good news declared to the poor that arrives to Juan Diego is the fact that he is the splendor of God. And the good news is that you are the splendor of God. So the other day, a homie in my office was saying, you know what life is, G? I said, no, what is it? He said, it's when the blindfold falls, when we remove the blindfold. And I said, I think you're probably right. But what do we see when the blindfold falls? And we talked about that for a while, and we were saying, well, we see as God sees, and we see our unshakable goodness, and we see that we are the splendor of God. So many, many years ago, I had two homies come into my office in one of our old offices, and they were cousins, and they were both from different neighborhoods, and they had just been released from two separate probation camps. And I had met them in camps, so they came to Homeboy Industries, and they, you know, we were talking, and they were trying to get jump-started and work at Homeboy, and they didn't have any clothes, so we drove over to JCPenney in HP, and I said, you can get whatever, $200 worth of clothes each. And so they came back to the line, and they both had their arms filled with clothes, and we were long-ass line, and two ladies behind the counter, and then one of the cousins cites kind of a little display of belts. He goes, I need a belt. I said, well, hurry. So he gave me all his clothes, and he was having a hard time deciding, and the line is moving up, and we're getting closer to the two ladies at the cashier, and I'm saying, apúrate cabrón, we're almost there, you know, and he can't decide. And finally he puts the belt around his waist, and he looks over at the two of us, and in a loud voice he says, I don't know, what do you think? And I'm about to tell him what I think. When his cousin looks at him and he says in perfect King's English, you look splendid. And I go, splendid? And his cousin looks at him and he says, splendid? And the two ladies behind the counter go, splendid? And every damn buddy in line, their face seemed to say, splendid. And he said, I don't know, I heard it on TV once. Well, all of us in that JCPenney and HP, we just burst out laughing. And we weren't laughing at him, and we weren't even exactly laughing with him. We were really celebrating the fact that we recognized that all of us are the splendor of God. We recognized the fact that our blindfold had fallen, and we recognized that the good news had been proclaimed to all of us. So, be strong, fear not. You are splendid.